Shalom Akim, all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, doing the work in truth and in sincerity. This is basically a video, I think I'm going to name it Scattered Abroad, because I'm basically pointing out the similarities of certain people in different nations that are, that are our people, and it's by a spiritual point of view, not by carnal means, looking up their past, are they from here and there? No, it's a spiritual thing. This thing that we involved in, the Israelite movement, the Hebrew Israelite thing that we do when we go out on the streets and preach and prophesy. This is a spiritual movement. This is not, just some carnal thing, and it's not to raise up black people. This is to raise the children of Israel and really the elect of the sons of Israel, So, I probably told you brothers before that I watched this a guy named Tone Talks, and he talk about the financial situation of so-called blacks in America, and he's the one that started the ADOS thing. Him with this this woman called Yvette Carnell. But I watch him because he's got he knows a lot of facts about the wealth situation and economic situation of Jake in America. So he talked a few times about the Igbo people, the descendants, and he refers to this article, the descendants of slaves in Nigeria fight for equality. So I went on ahead and read the article. I read more than about half the article, and it's a good article to read. But there are some things that I wanted to point out in this article that just basically makes a lot of sense. So and I'm gonna skip the first paragraph and go straight to the second paragraph because I want to get to the point. The second and the fifth paragraph pretty much. As slavery existed among the Igbo, because we know Igbo comes from the Hebrew word Igbo or Hebrew, so Igbo is really the Hebrew word, is the African way of saying Hebrew. Slavery existed among the Igbo long before colonization, but it accelerated in the 16th century when the transatlantic trade began and demand for slaves increased. Also pointing out, because we know the fake Jews are the ones that was really behind the transatlantic slave trade, and they the ones who got that slavery to increase. But that's a side note, another video for another day. Under slavery, Igbo society was divided into three main categories: Diala, Ohu, and Osu. The Diala were freeborn and enjoyed full status as members of the human race. The Ohu were taken as captives from distant communities or else enslaved in payments of debts or as punishment for crimes. The Diala kept them as domestic servants, sold them to white merchants, and occasionally sacrificed them in religious ceremonies or buried them alive as their master's funerals, or at their master's funerals. The Osu were slaves owned by traditional deities. And basically, let me read a little more. And the Diala, who wanted a blessing such as a male child, or who was trying to avoid tribulation such as a poor harvest or epidemic, could give a slave or a family member to a shrine as an offering. A criminal could also seek refuge for punishment by offering himself to a deity. This person then became Osu, or lived near the shrine, tended to the grounds, rarely mingling with the larger community. So we're dealing with Diala, which were the freeborn, Ohu, and the Osu, which we just gonna interchange them with Ohu, because the Ohu were basically the slaves of the Nigerian society. The Diala was the freeborn, so to speak. And then jumping down, Westerners trying to understand the Igbo system often reach for similarities with the oppression of black Americans, which was true. This analogy is helpful but imperfect, and actually it was right. It was perfect, actually. Igbo discrimination is not based on race, which the truth is, for those of us that know, it was based on race. It's based on your gene. Just because you're not, race doesn't mean color. It doesn't matter what color you are. You are of your father's gene or race. Esau, it's just Esau made it about color over here. But your race is your gene, your father's line. And there are no visual markers to differentiate slave descendants from freeborn. Instead, it trades on cultural beliefs and lineage and spirituality. The Ohu were originally brought to their towns from distant villages. Community ties are very important to the Igbo culture. And so, while the descendants of, say, American immigrants are encouraged to assimilate, the Ohu have never lost their outsider status. With the Osu, the Diala originally believed that mixing with a deity's slaves would earn them divine punishment. I mean, hey, in reading this article, it just basically says what the scriptures are saying as far as in Romans, the 8th chapter and the 16th verse. The Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God, or the children of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And this is just the Spirit, man, because those Osu, the majority of these Ohu in Nigeria of the Igbos are most likely descendants of the children of Israel. The descendants of the Diala are most likely the descendants of, the Hamites that live in that country. Most likely. I'm not saying all of them, because of course some of them is going to be Israelites. However, looking at the spiritual aspect of the Diala and the Ohu, or Osu, they are the Israelites that are the Igbo there. Most likely, the majority of them would be Israelites. Why? Because the Spirit just bears witness. How did the Spirit bear witness? Deuteronomy 28:44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And that's what this article is all just talking about, These Ohu are not freeborn. Reading a little bit more. American immigrants are encouraged to assimilate. The Ohu never lost their outsider status. With the Osu, the Diala originally believed that mixing with a deity's slaves would earn them divine punishment. In its spiritual aspect, the plight of the Osu is similar to that of Dalits in India and Baru Kumin in Japan. So I went on ahead and looked up the Dalits in India, and this is what I found. The Dalits, they face discrimination and even violence from members of higher caste or traditional social classes, particularly in access to jobs, education, marriage partners. Dalits, also known as untouchables, are members of the lowest social group in Hindu caste system. Just like you so-called Negroes, Indians, Latinos, the lowest group in social caste systems in the Americas and wherever we go. So those curses follow us no matter where we are. But we are separated from the main groups of society. And this discussion mainly came about when they were talking about this Harriet Tubman movie, which I read the Wikipedia autobiography of Harriet Tubman, and I know certain facts of the Harriet Tubman movie as they cast a so-called black man, a real Israelite that actually lives in America as the main villain. The so-called white man is the hero. Which was somehow in love with Harriet Tubman, which is all false. All of it is a lie. The black man slave catcher is a lie. The white man falling in love that was trying to catch Harriet, that's a lie as well. That's all a lie. When you read her biography, all of that's a lie. Yet they still put this dumbass movie together. Basically, that movie is akin to Birth of a Nation, not the Birth of a Nation that old boy did, the recent one. I'm talking about the Birth of a Nation about that the Edomites did a long time ago, where they was talking about how black men are demons trying to fuck white women. Because in this Harriet Tubman movie, and I'm gonna do a little Harriet Tubman review on it. I'll just do a little Harriet Tubman movie review on it, man. Because this Harriet Tubman movie, it is garbage, basically. But in that movie, just briefly explaining, the slave catcher nigga was basically getting paid with white women. I'll do anything to get these white women. I don't care how many nigga bitches I gotta catch. I'll do anything to get this white woman. That's basically what he said in the movie, man. It's crazy, man. Look, it's straight garbage, man. It's straight garbage. But anyway, no matter where we go, those curses follow us. I also looked up the Barakumin in Japan. Barakumin, Japanese Hamlet people, also called Ita, population abundant, outcast or untouchable, Japanese minority occupying the lowest level of traditional Japanese social system. So even when you go to Wikipedia, it goes into it a little bit more. Those who live in Hamlet villages is an outcast group at the bottom of traditional Japanese social order that has historically been the victim of severe discrimination or ostracism. They were originally members of outcast communities in Japanese feudal era, composed of those with occupations considered impure or tainted by death, such as executioners, undertakers, workers of slaughterhouses, butchers, or tanners, which have severe social stigmas of kagari attached to them. Traditionally, Barakumin lived in their own communities, hamlets, or ghettos. So, basically they the downcasted or outcasted of society, man. They live in ghettos. Just like you Jakes live in American ghettos. Just like the Dalits live in ghettos, And this is all hey, the spirit bear witness, man. All of this is part of the curses. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Salakia. Matter of fact, Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Salakia. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not to the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever. So that's what this is, man. This is a sign and a wonder. You Ohu of the Igbo, you're most likely Israelites. Why? Because it's a sign and a wonder. It fits the scriptures. And like I said, it's not to say that some of those Diala are Israelites, but however, it seems more likely that the Diala are actually the Hamites of the society. They're the higher class. They're the ones that owned the slaves. Same being with the Dalits in India. They're just a downcast. They're just a downtrodden minority, or in the ghetto in India, And it's the same thing with the Barakumin in Japan. They shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So that's what that is, a sign and a wonder. Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, with the power it were evening, and in the evening thou shalt say, with the power it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And of course, the transatlantic slave trade scripture, Deuteronomy 28:68, and Yahweh shall send thee into Egypt again with ships, by way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that's the transatlantic slave trade scripture for all you Jakes in America. But all this fits all of the tribes, man. These curses fit these curses fit Jake no matter where we go. Whether it be in Nigeria, the Igbo, which means Hebrew in the Hebrew, or it be the Dalits in India, or the Barakumin in Japan, man. These curses follow us no matter where we go. Ezekiel 22:15, I will scatter thee among the heathen and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee, man. So this is our punishment for the wickedness that we've done by not serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, our power, man. So that's why we're in this situation today, man. But this, like I said, hey, we're scattered among all the heathen, man. And it's not a color thing. It's a nationality thing. Spiritually, you can discern that the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, man. Because we're going through the same things all across the globe. You know? We're the poor of society, or the untouchables, or the unwanted of all these societies among the heathen. The heathen is the head, and we're the tail. Just like the scriptures say. So, you know, hey, it's never been a color thing, and we always say that. It's always a nationality thing. And these signs and wonders are the curses that are upon us to tell us who we really are. And with that, I hope you Akim were edified. Until the next time, and say shalom.